Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Luckenen certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.
The gates are down and away they go. And over on the left-hand side I can see Hermans. There's a bit of jostling, but it's Tim Prummer and Jarno Stegmans.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It feels great to know that our work during the winter was right. And we are on the right way. We love the track. The atmosphere here is crazy. So many German fans cheering. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's Benny Weiss, the Austrian. Is it Puma around the outside? Somebody's off there.
I don't know what to say now. It's our first win in our career, and yeah, I don't know. Big thank to our team.
Yeah, I see another Koen this year. Koen who wants to battle for the world title. Even when there's something wrong, then he goes better. And yeah, I'm really proud of him.
Welcome back to Brou then, the second race, but this is what happened in the first race. There was a big mix-up in the middle. It almost caught up Brett Wilkinson. It was Jason Van Dalen, but first into the bend, Stuart Brown and Scott Graham, but the Prunier boys dived up the inside when the British crew went wide. The French champions, to the delight of their hordes of fans, led this race from start to finish. It was an impeccable display, but what a race unfolded behind. Stuart Brown, the veteran, with his passenger, 36 years old today, 88 years their combined ages, and they didn't look a day over 21 each. The little Bardi's boys, 18 years of age each, were giving chase all the way through. They locked horns with Stuart Brown. They made it through into second place, but Brown was not giving up one single inch. Koen Hermans didn't get the best of starts. He was coming hard, but the Prunier boys just stretched out that gap from Marvin van Luckenen and Nicolas Mousset, who had grabbed second place on the opening lap. It was an impeccable display by the 94 crew. Van Luckenen and Nicolas Mousset, with Van Luckenen tiring as the result of COVID, but it was victory for the Prunier boys, making it 3 winners so far in 5 races in this championship, and the crowd loved every minute. The question is, can they do it again in race 2, because that's what's coming up. Van Luckenen was runner-up here, closing his advantage on the race leaders, and we've got a fantastic battle ahead of us. Welcome to those of you watching us on fim-moto.tv.com. My name is Barry Nutley, and that is the Brou circuit. It was an amazing race. This is how they line up from qualifying. Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard fought through to 5th place in the opening race after being rammed halfway up the start-finish straight and almost being tipped over. Prunier boys, then they line up second. Stuart Brown, what a weekend they're having, he and Scott Graham. Davy Sanders, Koen Hermans, Mike Hodges distinguished himself in qualifying. Justin Kerben, also quick. had a good result, but not the result he would have wanted with ninth in race 1. The Wyman brothers are the next bunch of 10. 30 riders go, and this is the order in which they get their pick on the start gate. Stefan Wise, the Lille Barlis boys, dropped back a little bit. They had a good finish, but it was 6th in the opening race, and they're still way adrift in the points battle, languishing in 11th place of 50 points. The young Verhees brothers from the Netherlands, Holman, Hengster, the left ranks had a bad race. They broke down, they were out of it, so they've got catching up to do. And the rest of the guys and girls, Victoria Verakaita there on the number 81 outfit of Gregory Raymond, the Frenchman. Likewise, the young lady in with Patrick Hengster, 914. Tim Prummer, sadly, will not go. Stefan Burr and Rugoni, they are first reserve. So there, that start finish, that epic start straight at Brou. You can get pinched on the inside. If the best option is to go straight up the middle where you can see that well-worn line, but then of course you run the risk of something happening such as happened to Brett Wilkinson. But I can see the British crew have opted to go in exactly the same place. They are bang in the middle there as the crews line up. They've done their sighting lap. They know what lies ahead of them. Justin Kerbin, Dion Rietman. They're the Lille Bardis boys taking their place, the 101, alongside Marvin van Lukenen, who looked across as much to say, don't ram me off the line. Well, nobody does it intentionally, but these bikes, as anyone knows who's ridden a sidecar outfit, when you dump the clutch and put the power on, it pulls sideways a little bit. And the harder you drive, the harder it pulls sideways. And if you happen to get the sidecar locked up with something, then it does a complete 90-degree turn. Koen Hermans alongside Benny Weiss. Koen Hermans, Ben van der Bergart leading the championship by 23 points from Marvin van Lukenen going into this race. Are the Brunier boys going to make it a double? They certainly have got the crowd behind them. If they get a good start, who knows? Davy Sanders and Jens Vincent, who has earned his credentials this year in the sidecar of Davy Sanders, and there, of course, Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard, as Adrian Petter and Joel Hoffman, the number 22, 20 crew, take their place. Brett Wilkinson did a good job fighting through from what almost could have been a catastrophe. He's alongside the Wyman brothers, so both those outfits are going to be pulling left, as indeed is the third one, Mike Hodges and Ryan Henderson, number 13, another British crew. So 3 left-handed outfits, 4 left-handed outfits with Stuart Brown and Scott Graham. Third place in the opening race. What a race they had. Brendan Carcraft and Matty Soupon, the Bretons, who start very quickly. Tom van der Lagerbat, number 99. And hard on the left, Stefan Myers and Han van Hal. Well, the tension's building here. The tension's building in the commentary box as well, I can tell you. Devil Dare, the 47 French crew in the background, pushing in to start the formation of the second row. And there is an enormous crowd here. I've never seen so many people here at Brou. And such is the effect of having champions designate in the lineup. And they are, of course, double French champions, the Prunier boys, leading this year, existing champions from last year. As indeed Marvin van Lukenen is the reigning champion from last year, but carrying the number 1 plate, the red plate, of course, goes to Koen Hermans, who is just a little bit further along. Lille Bardis boys and Koen Hermans side by side. Van Lukenen there. Hermans on the outside of Benny Weiss. So the 2 white-shirted crews, keep an eye on them. Hermans is next to the 91 Austrian crew. Van Lukenen is next to the 101 Latvian crew. And then further along they go to right in the middle there, Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard. Justin Kerman hard on the right, you should look at it. The number 7 will be into 15 seconds. French tricolours waving. The air horn's going. They want the Prunier boys to get a flyer. Watch the gate. The revs are rising. Watch when the runners sit down, 5 seconds. Herman's got a flyer. Leal Barney's got a flyer as well. Herman's though. It's Prunier right into the lead from the word go. What a cracking start for the 94. Koen Hermans was up there though. He got a good one, as did Leal Bardis. It's Mike Hodges, Ryan Henderson in second place. Well, what do you know? And there's Stuart Brown. Ahead of it this time, Koen Hermans though. Zach Gwendol Carcreff as well got an absolute flyer, I think it was. It was the Bretons have done it again. Here they go then. So French boys are up there. Hermans with Stuart Brown. Then it's Justin Kerben. Then it's Pete Wilkinson sneaking through on the inside. Kerben going well. Better start for him this time. Much more dust. We've had 2 solo races between the 2 sidecar races, and there's been no watering. It's all bunching up down the bottom there. Everyone riding in a very circumspect way, but you've got to be able to see where you're going. But what a hole shot for Kilian and Evel Prunier. Who's that? Coasting. What? So red flag, surely. Yellow flag's being waved all the way around the circuit. No one can overtake at this point. So what has gone wrong here? Never seen this. False start. Yellow flag's being waved all the way around the circuit. Was there a fault at the start gate? I do not know. Everyone being slowed down in race order. So, all dressed up and nowhere to go. The adrenaline is charging. Are we going to get a green flag and then get business on? Something has happened for this to occur. I'm puzzled. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard. Mike Hodges, Ryan Henderson, Stuart Brown, Scott Graham. The British crews were all up there, but the French crew was up the head. It was not a good start for Van Lukener. I didn't see Marvin Van Lukener in the leading bunch. They're all being brought back to the start gate here. The gate went down when the 5-second board went up. So it was a false start. I didn't see the board marshal was out of sight. So the gate was premature. Well, there the answer. Nicola, our event manager, giving me the information. So the start gate marshal misread the boards. He dropped the gate as the 5-second board went up, which obviously constitutes a false start. The FIM officials, of course, very much on the case here. And, well, that's an extra lap done. I don't know what the refueling possibilities might need to be. I doubt if it's that critical. Well, we're going to have to get calmed down and do it all again. Me included. Well, in the sunshine here, that adds even more suspense to what's been a riveting day so far here at Brou. Stuart Brown and Scott Graham did get a cracking start, but not as good as the French Prunier boys. Helmets are off, so people are getting a cooling off period here. So my guess is there'll be something like a 10-minute delay to proceedings. Well, it's all part of the drama of live motocross, and of course run on the strictest regulations. The Prunier boys then, having whole shot ice, can they do it a third time? You would not bet against it. Evan Prunier has kept his helmet on. Just checking here, Dave Edwards, race director, is very much involved in the proceedings here. Jens Vincent, Davy Sanders passenger, walking around. Was there a fault with the gate mechanism? Or was it purely an error by the administration as to the timing? From our drone shot, or the long shot, we did not get the race director and the 15 and 5 second board girls in our sights. Not from the commentary position anyway. Allows them a bit more time to get the gardening done. That is assuming they take the same places as they did last time. Interesting that there was no red flag shown and it was only waved yellows. Red flag, of course, means a race stoppage. Stuart Brown, Scott Graham down there, very distinctive in their all red strip with the big 888. And as I said just a few minutes ago, their combined ages are now, as of today, 88, with Scott Graham celebrating his 36th birthday. That gives you an indication of the size of the crowd, not just the car park, but the people amassed on that bank. Hardly a blade of grass to sit on. Of course, that's where the beer tent and the refreshment stalls are all along the top there. It really is a sensational course, and that's why Brou has been such a popular venue over the years. But of course, bear in mind, here in France, the Federation has at least 10 tracks at its disposal capable of running World Championship events. So from the south all the way up to Brittany, they have the capability to run world-class events, and the desire is there for sure. That is why, generally speaking, there are 2 French Grand Prix on the calendar now that we have overcome the COVID crisis and 1 or 2 of the politics in the early stages. 2 minutes then being shown to the teams, so those helmets have got to get back on toot sweet. Davy Sanders, Jens Vincent, Stefan Wires, and Ham Van Hal, the 418 crew. Brett Wilkinson never removed his helmet. Joe's helmet is off. Joe Millard with his back to us and the unruly mop of dark hair. Been a passenger a long, long time and a vast amount of experience, ridden with all the top crews in the UK. 2 minutes then, our young lady giving the cruise, and then they will get the whistle and the come on to form up on the grid. And we have to go through the whole start line tension and procedure again. But all of this, of course, adding excitement for the crowd. I hope they've got enough gas left in their air horns, because the Prunier boys have got that added pressure of this huge supportive crowd, hugely supportive crowd, if I use the adverb. And they have enhanced their championship standings, leapfrogging over Brett Wilkinson into third place on 101, just 4 points behind Marvin van Lukenen. So the Prunier brothers can very easily move into second place in the standings here. And nobody wants a DNF, but if misfortune should befall any of the other top riders, then who knows what could happen after this French Grand Prix. And we move on from here, of course, next weekend, just next weekend, to Gdansk in Poland for yet another fantastically entertaining track. Koen Hermans then. So they've got to go through the whole motions again, taking their places on the grid. Mike Hodges, Ryan Henderson, can they repeat their fantastic start? Marvin van Lukenen and Nicolas Mousset will be somewhat relieved that they have a second pick of the cherry, because they did not distinguish themselves that time. Kerben again opting for that far left position, so he's happy with that. A lot of white shirts in the middle. The Prunier boys, Koen Hermans, Lil Bardis, all in light strip. But we're so accustomed to seeing the yellow of the Prunier. Siblings, and they're right next to Koen Hermans. It's the only way to distinguish them, but we can't get it until we're close up. Is the red plate. But Marvin van Lukenen are there, about 3 in from the far end, and somebody waiting to go in the middle between Koen Hermans and Marvin van Lukenen. Between Justin Kerben and Marvin van Lukenen. Pardon me. A much more subdued gathering this time. Saw Brett Wilkinson in the same place. FIM very much on the case here. That's why we have FIM officials at world-class events, because essentially it is their championship. It is a world championship, and it is the duty of the FIM to ensure that it's run correctly to the rules, and that's why we get the odd 5-second noise penalty at the end of the race. It's random, and you can be docked 5 places. The Prunier boys alongside Davy Sanders. Let's zoom in. 109 there, Davy Sanders. Marvin van Lukenen is indeed just inside. The Lil Bardis boys next to Kerben. So the air horns get cranked up again, the tricolours wave. They know the time is now getting close. Now we get a shot of the ladies with the board and our race director, Dave Edwards. All good as far as he's concerned. 15. Wait for it, wait for it. Here we go then. In gear, heads down. Now the gates away, and Brett Wilkinson gets a flyer in the middle. It's Brett Wilkinson, but he gets a nudge. Stuart Brown, Scott Graham. The Prunier boys are right in there with him. They're in second place. Stuart Brown has done it again. The old veteran has got the whole shot here. He can get that thing off the line, can't he? Stuart Brown, Scott Graham, Killian Evon Prunier. Brett Wilkinson is in there in third place. That's a cracking start for Brett Wilkinson. Where are the rest of the boys? Looking over the shoulder, the dust is really slowing everyone down. Was it Prunier? Well, Kerben got a good one. Step of wire. There's Leopardis. There's Van Lukkenen. Not so good for Marvin and Nicola Mousset. Battling their way down through the dust. There's been no water put on at all, so they really have to be a little bit careful on this opening lap. Let's see who's going to jump over the hill. And it will be, it's still Stuart Brown. It's Koen Hermans, forgive me, not Prunier, it's Koen Hermans who's on the outside. Stuart Brown and Scott Graham. Wilkinson through on the inside on Hermans. No, couldn't get the drive down. Hermans alongside. Prunier boys down in about 6th place now, I think. The British crews, Koen Hermans leads. Hermans, Ben van den Bogart have gone past Stuart Brown in short shrift, all on the opening lap. Brett Wilkinson has now got ahead of him his British Championship rival. And is there going to be any consideration here for Brett Wilkinson's championship position when he's alongside and he's passed cleanly Stuart Brown then as Brett Wilkinson goes through. Brown down to 3rd place. Now it's Killian Evon Prunier. No, it's not. Is it? Yes, it is. It's so difficult. They're all dressed in white. Come on, chaps, give me some green shirts. Kerben there. Neil Bardis alongside him. So, Killian Evon Prunier in 4th. They have got to get past a very difficult outfit. The 888 outfit noticeably difficult to overtake. But Killian Evon Prunier are getting 3rd in the dust this time with Stuart Brown and Scott Graham on the back of Brett Wilkinson. Benny Weiss there. Benny Weiss going well. Another great start from the guy who won the 2nd race in Kramelin. Kerben is behind Weiss. Prunier in 4th. But he's going to have to get past Stuart Brown pretty quickly because Koen Hermans is on a mission here and he wants to extend that championship lead. And we want the Prunier brothers to get up there and maybe get overall victory, don't we? Well, the French fans certainly do, that's for sure. But it's dusty down the back there. Very, very dusty through there. Killian Evon Prunier stalking Stuart Brown and Scott Graham. From the middle of the start line, Brett Wilkinson and Koen Hermans both made flyers, as indeed did Stuart Brown. And now on the outside, here comes Killian Prunier. He's got to get the drive down, he can here, and he's alongside Stuart Brown and he's overtaken over the hill and he's taken the place. Up to 3rd goes Killian Prunier. Killian Evon Prunier into 3rd now, pursuing Brett Wilkinson. Down 1 place goes Brown, but this is where the focus will be for the fans. The 94 crew of the race 1 winners. But the championship nemesis, Koen Hermans, is leading the race and the gap was 23 points and the French brothers do not want that. They want to catch and pass Koen Hermans. Now they've got a long way to go and a lot of time to do it. They've got the speed. Have they got what it takes? Look at the gap now that Koen Hermans has pulled already. 2.1 over the line the last time. Brett Wilkinson now 3.9 seconds behind. So Prunier is going away. No, Hermans is going away and Prunier is catching Brett Wilkinson. Still Stuart Brown, still there in 4th. 5th it's Benny Weiss. 6th it's Mike Hodges, who had a good start, but Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider are past him. Kerben is in 7th. 7th in the race and 7 on the bike. Remarkable the support from the crowd here. The track holding up really nicely. There's been a horde of solo support racing as well. They don't do anything like the damage that the quads do to the surface, but this is hard pack. Once they cut through the surface mud, and the surface loose stuff, it's hard as nails underneath. Lots of big stones in the ground as well. Stuart Brown and Scott Graham have far from given up. They are still there holding on to the coattails of the 94 French crew, who are getting all the encouragement they need, and ahead of them Brett Wilkinson some 3 seconds up the road. There, Brett Wilkinson, Joe Miller just going out of sight. This live stream coming to you courtesy of FIM-motor.tv. And what a show we have been given today. You had a couple of free solo races thrown in for good measure, albeit without commentary. The crowd then waving their flags. They'll be shouting on every turn, urging the Prunier brothers forward with every rotation of the 3 wheels. Mike Hodges still in 6th. Kerben, Marvin van Lukener in 8th place and having to chase hard now. 3 laps completed by the top 3. And Stuart Brown, Benny Weiss. Van Lukener up to 7th. Leo Vardis going with him. Leo Vardis is in 8th. But Van Lukener has Justin Kerben ahead of him, and Kerben is not an easy man to pass. Well, Prunier boys, you have all the encouragement you need coming from thousands of loyal supporters. Benny Weiss is now closing on Stuart Brown. Benny Weiss can see 4th place a little bit up the road. Right-hand sidecar for him, left-hand sidecar for Brown. There's Kerben Dion Rietman, going much, much better this time. It's all down to the start here at Brou. You've got to get a good start, and they got one. And then Van Lukener, Nicola Musset, chasing down Kerben. So it's all going to be close at the front again. Oh, through on the inside, Van Lukener. What a move that was. Where did that come from? Where did that come from? He went in there so hard, just jerked it left. And he was through. So up 1 more place. Van Lukener now up to 6th. Here he comes. Ahead of him, Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider. But these two can win a Grand Prix race. They showed us that in Kremlin. They did it from start to finish. And they've always said if they can get away at the front and run at the pace, then they stand a good chance. And they're looking very, very hard now at Stuart Brown and Scott Graham. And they're going to have to pick an option here to get past the British left-handed crew. Can Van Lukener maintain his stamina? He's certainly got the speed here. But up the front, it's a very, very good ride by Koen Hermans, who's got a 7.5 second lead over Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard, who are doing their championship. No harm at all, but we're watching Benny Weiss and Patrick Schneider, the number 91 crew, in their orange and black, traditional orange and black. What we said, oh, he's rubbing the sidecar of Scott Graham, trying to find a way through. It's only a matter of time, I think. Just got to pick his moment and pick his place. 10 minutes of racing gone. Well, 11 minutes if you count full stop. But Benny Weiss had a heavy landing there and appeared to have lost a bit of momentum. Let's hope nothing broke. It was a heavy landing and it jarred him possibly. Patrick Schneider taking one hand off the handrail. Stuart Brown, oh, they're still coming, Austrians. Yep, they're looking good. I think Patrick Schneider doing something I referred to in the earlier race, whereby a skilled passenger will find just a few moments to rest, flex his fingers. Sometimes you get forearm pump up and just relax those muscles a little bit and then go again. And that's exactly what I think Patrick Schneider was doing, resting his right hand from the loop. This is where Weiss and Schneider close up on Stuart Brown. Stuart Brown has to look to his laurels here because the Austrians mean business. And here comes Van Lukener. He's closing as well. Van Lukener some 19 seconds down on the race leaders. That's the left-hander where Stuart Brown is quick. He can get the power down. Benny Weiss can't use his power, but he's climbing all over the sidecar wheel now. He's going to go for it on this left-hander, surely. Down the bottom, the left-hand is where he wants to be. Up the inside, stuff it up the inside. When you've got to go, you've got to go. Stuart Brown again proving to be a really, really difficult man to pass, not for nothing. With all his experience and 18 British titles, do you get all the track craft that he's got under his helmet? There are places where Brown gets away. Van Lukener is now coming. He's got Benny Weiss in his sights. There he is, Van Lukener and Nicolas Musset. They are charging now. And as with Koen Hermans in the earlier race, they might get two for the price of one here. 9.5 seconds the gap that Hermans has over Brett Wilkinson. And the mega engine in Koen Hermans' bike has been so good, so strong. Always was a two-stroke man, of course. Most of these riders cut their teeth with the Zabel. And then along came Mega, and a mighty fine engine it is as well. Stuart Brown, Scott Graham, up and over that double jump. With Benny Weiss now looking for an opportunity here, and this is where it's going to be, surely. No, couldn't get the sidecar wheel through. There was no room at the inn, Jose. You can't stop here tonight. Brown being very canny here. Van Lukener watching what's unfolding in front of him, and still Justin Kerben behind Van Lukener. Then behind Justin Kerben, it's the Weinman brothers. Then Lielvardis in 9th place. Daniel and Bruno Lielvardis. 9th place for the Latvian brothers. Benny Weiss has done it. No, he hasn't. Stuart Brown was almost nabbed in the air there. Benny Weiss had the line but couldn't clip the corner off. Just couldn't close the sail. What a performance again from the veteran. But Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard in 2nd place at the moment. 16 minutes of racing remaining, and then 2 laps. Benny Weiss doing everything he possibly can here. He's already moved up to 5th in the standings. And the man in front of him is Brett Wilkinson, so there's no way he can improve on the points. All he can do is move further ahead of Justin Kerben, who's on 77, 4 behind him. And he's sitting in front of Justin Kerben. He will consolidate his 5th place in the standings, the Austrian. And that will be a delight to him, I'm sure. But nonetheless, if he can get past Stuart Brown, it'll be even more points on the board. Van Lukener closing just a bit, coming ever closer on Benny Weiss. And just as with race 1, we have a battle here further down the order, which is proving to be very entertaining indeed. Kilian Prunier is now just 5 seconds behind Brett Wilkinson, who is in 2nd place. So we're going to have a good battle at the front as well for Prunier to make ground on Brett Wilkinson. But still, this scrap here with Stuart Brown and Scott Graham getting more publicity this weekend at Brou that they have in recent seasons, apart from when they pulled off the double in Germany. And that, I believe, was Strasbourg. Not sure. Stand to be corrected. But Brown doing a fantastically strong job here. 77 crew of Stefan Brou and Rudi Gonner. Still many lights chipping away. But they've made their way past the tail enders. The lap riders then were an obstacle, but they're not now, but they are to Marvin van Leeuwen, who's got to now navigate past the 77 crew. But he's done that successfully, but it has cost him a couple of seconds, I would have thought. Half distance gone. 13 and a bit seconds of racing remaining. And still Stuart Brown and Scott Graham hold off the intentions of the Austrian crew, Weiss and Schneider. At the front now, Wilkinson some 14 seconds down on Hermans and maintaining the gap over Kilian Prunier. Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard have found a bit of speed from somewhere. Hermans has just done the fastest lap of 2:06.7. So Hermans is holding that winning advantage very, very well indeed. He knows just what he's got to do. Is this going to be victory number 4 for the all-Dutch combination and the red plate holders? Van Leeuwen then dropping back just a little bit, and he will have to look to his laurels because Justin Kerben is still there lurking. Benny Weiss desperately needs to get by, and he desperately wants to get by. Is it just a matter of time? Taking the wide line, can he cut back and get the power down? Yes, he's alongside almost, then he takes the courage of his conviction, slide up the inside, and it's a done deal. Weiss and Schneider move into 4th place. Up into 4th they go. Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider, successfully and cleanly past Stuart Brown and Scott Graham, who won't give an inch, they'll fight back. But now the British crew, the red-shirted British crew, will be coming under pressure from Marvin van Leeuwen, who will sense a different adversary. And here he comes over the top of the hill. He will know it's Stuart Brown, and he will know that Stuart Brown is not 30-minute race fit, but then Marvin will also know that he himself is not 30-minute race fit. So this is going to be a very interesting scenario into the closing stages. And you wouldn't bet against Stuart Brown holding it together, would you? He's already shown us what he can do over the long race, and he just keeps on going. Wilkinson now 15.5 seconds the gap, and 7 seconds advantage over Prunier. So Wilkinson is maintaining that advantage in 2nd place. There is Prunier. Where is Wilkinson? Disappearing out of sight. You should see him over the top and back into view, just out of sight the other side of the hill. Van Leeuwen facing Stuart Brown. There goes Benny Weiss through the dip. There goes Stuart Brown through the dip. Here comes Lil Vardis. Lil Vardis ahead of former mate Stefan Myers, Han van Hal. Stefan Myers, Han van Hal got a good start, but he's always there consistently. This is the battle now for about 9th place. Yes, it is. Lil Vardis is in 9th, and Stefan Myers wants it. And the Lil Vardis twins haven't got the sparkle we've seen from them in previous races. And certainly nothing like the star they displayed last year when they carried the red plate for 2/3 of the season. Daniel and Bruno are fighting hard now to stay ahead of Stefan Myers and Han van Hal, who sense a golden opportunity here to make a name for themselves and overtake the 18-year-old young Latvian sensations with their hordes of Latvian supporters here, who are somewhat subdued this weekend, overpowered by the vast numbers of French. Some of those air horns are also for Nicola Musset, the passenger in this number 1 outfit. 3 times a world champion, 3 times a world championship for Marvin van Leeuwen, but only 1 together. They would very much like it to be 2 together and round out this season with a successful defence of their title. Sidecar motocross, as we well know, is a very fickle sport. This is race 6 of 18. A 9-round calendar. We move from here to Poland. From Poland to Lommel, the deep sand of Lommel, Germany, Strasbessenbach. Then we go to Latvia, Madonna. That'll be home ground for the Leobardis boys, and they will be getting the similar treatment that the French are giving the Prunier brothers here. Van Leeuwen are now right on the back of Stuart Brown. After Latvia, it's France for Seoul, then Rudersburg for the grand finale. Bryson Schneider getting away. Stuart Brown now under pressure from the defending champion, Marvin van Leeuwen. But having ridden an absolutely sterling race here. But will it be good enough to get him an overall position? I don't think so. If Marvin claims a better position, second in the opening race, Van Leeuwen. Hermans was third, and Wilkinson, so it will be a, and I'm counting my chickens here before they're hatched. The Hermans, Van Leeuwen, Wilkinson podium. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's carry on with what's happening on track, because so much can unfold in the 8 minutes of remaining racing, plus the 2 laps, don't forget. The back wheel went a little bit light there, cost Stewart just a fraction of a second, and Van Leeuwen saw that, was able to get some power on. Stewart turned it in a little bit hard. Scott Graham doing an admirable job, resting where he can. 15 years of passengering experience and quite a few injuries along the way. Remember, a broken back collected in Gdansk in Poland, so that was not to be envied at all. And leg injury last season, but a tough character. All these sidecar passengers are as hard as nails. They have to be. It's the toughest physical sport in the world, bar none. Van Leeuwen is by there. Van Leeuwen has made a very clean pass on Stuart Brown, moving up there into 4th place. 5th place, I beg your pardon. Van Leeuwen. 5th place for him. Now Benny Weiss is his next target. Van Leeuwen can see Prunier. Prunier is up there to be caught. What's going on here with the number 94 crew? Van Leeuwen, then they are slowing. They are slowing because Wilkins is getting away. The number 94 crew, it's unraveling a bit here for them. What is the problem with Kilian and Evan Prunier? Marvin van Leeuwen can sense a move here on these boys. So indeed can Stuart Brown. The Prunier brothers are slowing. There must be a mechanical problem. Last week in Fox Hill, their rear suspension collapsed, or rather in the last Grand Prix. What is happening with the Zabel this time out? Brett Wilkinson now has extended his advantage over them, but he's still 20 seconds behind the race leader, Koen Hermans. But 19 seconds ahead of Kilian Evan Prunier, who have definitely slowed. Is it Evan? Surely it's not Evan Prunier who is feeling the effects of this tough home Grand Prix here. This is not what the French brothers want. Marvin van Leeuwen and Nicolas Musset are closing with every turn of the wheels. Drama, my goodness me. Oh dear. Stuart Brown, Scott Graham, going with them all the way. It's only a matter of time, surely, before Marvin van Leeuwen finds the wherewithal to pass Kilian Evan Prunier, who are hard. They're not riding with their usual verve and tenacity. And the French crowd sense it. They know something is amiss here with their idols. Just under 5 minutes of racing remaining with a 2-lap board to come. What is afoot? Herman's on target here for something special, surely. Marvin van Leeuwen on target for something special. I'm not even going to attempt the maths, but Brett Wilkinson is in the hunt as well for an overall podium, because he is sitting in second place behind Hermans. Listen to the French commentator going absolutely bonkers here. But still, Kylian Prunier are staying ahead of Marvin van Leeuwen and Nicolas Musset. So maybe something temporary happened with them. But one thing is for sure, they have lost ground on Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard, who are, dare I tempt fate by saying safely, into third place. Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider in third place, Wilkinson second, with the Austrians hunting them down, and the Prunier boys in fourth ahead of Van Leeuwen, and you're watching that battle on your screen now. Van Leeuwen unable to close them down and close the deal. Stuart Brown still a little bit in touch, but having dropped back somewhat from this battle of the two championship contenders. I'm going to put it that way because they are indeed championship contenders. Kylian Prunier seems to have regrouped and composed himself. And I can tell you, on a television screen, you don't always get the true impression of the speed that you get when you're trackside. 2.5 minutes of racing remaining. Prunier now past a tail-ender. And has done enough to gap Marvin van Leeuwen a little bit. It could be that Evan Prunier took a knock and now they're able to get back on the pace again. So much so that they've now got Benny Weiss back in their sights. So that third place battle is not over. The crowd then will be urging Kylian Prunier on from that temporary hiatus, whatever it was. Can he get some more grunt out of his Zabel? Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider similarly mounted, and Van Leeuwen on yet another Zabel behind them. Well, Van Leeuwen has lost ground here. This is open up the door again for Stuart Brown. Kylian Prunier has got going again. Just over a minute of normal racing remaining, and here he comes. He's got going again. He's definitely on the pace here, whatever it was, and it looked like a knock to Evan Prunier, the passenger who basically said just ease up a bit. Must have hit himself on the handrail or something. But now Prunier's got going again. He's got the hurry up message in his head. And the target, the 91 target, very much in sight again. Away they go. Let's have a look at their lap times. 2:10. They're both doing 2:10s. Brett Wilkinson doing a 2:9, so he's easing away. Van Leeuwen is doing a 2:10, but Prunier doing a 2:10.1, half a second quicker than the guys ahead of him and the team behind him. So there's every chance when we get to the 2-lap board that Kylian Prunier can eventually catch Benny Weiss again and reclaim that position, the third place, which will be so vital to him in his quest for the championship. But the maximum points are going the way at the moment of Koen Hermans and Ben van den Bogart, who have a 25-second lead over Brett Wilkinson. This is where the French interest lies then. Prunier is back on it. I was puzzled, but it could not have been a mechanical problem. It must only have been a momentary lapse in the fitness or a knock that one of them took just to back off a bit. Here they come again. Prunier is coming again on Benny Weiss. They will hear the encouragement of the crowd. 2 laps to go. Well, the drama just gets better and better and better here. The only way we're going to find out what the problem was is in a post-race interview. If he can make it to the podium, then Nicola will find out what his problem was. The crowd now have woken up again, urging on. Benny Weiss then is the target. Prunier is coming again. They've dropped Stuart Brown. Marvin van Luckenen is not able to maintain this pace. He is in 5th. The interest in this race now is, can Prunier make it through to 3rd? It's getting the urge on from the 77 there of Stefan Boer, urging his fellow countrymen on. Well, you know, it ain't over till it's over, is it? In the world of sidecar motocross, anything can happen, and we so often say it nearly always does. Now, Prunier, you can tell the urgency. His foot was on the footrest. He was driving hard. He was pushing hard because he knows he can pass Benny Weiss on this penultimate lap. They'll be urged on by the crowd. He simply has to do it. He has to do it. It will give him a first and a good opportunity for overall here. Kilian Prunier is the man of the moment, and he's on target for a 1st and a 3rd place, which surely will give him the overall victory. Marvin van Luckenen, 2nd place, and he's lying in 5th in this one. That is not enough. Koen Hermans, a 4th and a race win in this one. Well, it's going to be really tight at the top. Prunier has to get past. And he has. He's passed Benny Weiss. He's on a charge now. Benny Weiss relegated. Blue flags. Prunier is coming, but there's no way he's going to catch Brett Wilkinson surely on the final lap. But it is a 1st and a 3rd for Kilian Prunier. Dare I take my eyes off the screen to try and do the sums? Romans 18 and 25. 43. Prunier 25. And 20. Prunier's on for overall victory here. Koen Hermans will be 2nd. Brett Wilkinson could well be 3rd here. But this is it, the final lap. Koen Hermans, Ben van den Boogaard on their way to an overall podium, but it won't be the top step. That will be because of the fight back of Prunier. Koen Hermans, Ben van den Boogaard, a brilliant, brilliant race. 25 seconds, the advantage over Brett Wilkinson. And they will be utterly, utterly delighted, and it will just march them on to an increased lead in the championship. Well, Prunier will eat into it by 1 point. But it's going to be close for 2nd place in the title chase. Has Prunier done enough to go 2nd in the standings? I can't take my eyes off the screen to do the sums on that one, I can tell you. But we will know more when we see the overall caption at the end of this. Final lap then, an impeccable result of Koen Hermans and Ben van den Boogaard. And they get the just plaudits from the partisan crowd here. Checkered flag, victory for Ben van den Boogaard, passengering to Koen Hermans. That pair have got stronger and stronger and have done it again. They've retained the red plate. Are we going to see Brett Wilkinson claim second place, and how close was the Prunier? Here we have it. Brett and Joe Millard, runners up here. What a great result for them. Absolutely terrific. And what have they done? Prunier has done enough here for overall. Brett Wilkinson, well, what's the overall going to be? Is it enough for the podium? They've done it overall. Dave Edwards telling the boys that they've done enough to win the Grand Prix overall. I think that was the hidden message there. Van Luken of 5th, Brown 6th, what a ride again. 7th again for the Wyman boys, came strong. Oh, what an absolutely brilliant Grand Prix here we've had. Have Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard done enough to stand on the podium here in Brou? Hermans, Ben Van den Berger certainly have. It's a question of whether it's Van Lukener with 22 points. Well, they've done it. I think Wilkinson will get it by virtue. I think Van Lukener and Wilkinson have identical points. But Wilkinson will get the 3rd place overall by virtue of the 2nd race result. Don't quote me, but I think that's the way it will go. Overall victory, though, by 1 point, I believe, to Kilian Evon Prunier here in their home Grand Prix. Just look at the crowd and what that means to them. A victory lap for Kilian Evon Prunier, overall winners of the 3rd Grand Prix of the 2025 FIM Sidecarcross World Championship here at the stunning track of Brou. And will this inspire these fanatical French fans to go to Vesoul later in the year? I do hope so, because I look forward to that with a huge amount of anticipation. That's it, confirmed. I was right. 2 points then. Prunier over Hermans, Brett Wilkinson 3rd overall, Marvin Van Lukener 4th. So the British crew do stand on the podium. 5th overall for Stuart Brown and Scott Graham. Magnificent result for the 2nd of the British crew. Benny Weiss, Patrick Schneider 6th from the Leobardis boys, 7th Kerben Weinman. They're getting better, those young German lads. And Stefan Weiss, Han van Hal, top 10 overall, total of 20 points. So that's really, really good. Well, fantastic. We will be joining the prize giving, the presentation. I suspect we'll take a short break before the presentation, but we will be back as the Prunier boys complete their lap of honour. I'm going to take a short breather, and I suspect we'll be back for the prize giving and the presentation. So from me for now, Barry Nutley, we leave you with the pictures of the jubilant Kilian Evon Prunier getting the plaudits of their thousands of French fans. If we want to stay with the pictures, we will, but my guess is we'll take a short break before the prize giving ceremony. Well, it looks like the Prunier boys are going to have a large portion of glory here, because we're staying with it on their lap of honour, thanking the fans. That's the way it's done. And in the schedule, of course, the prize-giving ceremony, quote, is immediately after race 2. So it looks like we're staying with it all the way, and you can see what that means. What that means to Team Prunier. We've got some interviews here, and we've got the passenger of Brett Wilkinson. We can go down and speak to Joe Millard. He must be delighted. 3rd overall here at Brou. Let's hear then from Joe Millard.
So Joe, brilliant ride from your side. You confidently kept the 2nd position for the whole race, and you have the 3rd overall position here in Brou, so it's perfect. What do you say about it?
Yeah, really happy with it. It was tough first race when we nearly crashed on the start and we had to come from a long way back. So that was really disappointing to end up 5th. And then 2nd race, yeah, we had a really good start and we managed to hold the French brothers off. And then I was hoping we might be able to beat Hermans, but he was too quick. And then we were trying to work out in our heads if we were 3rd or 4th. And yeah, over the moon, can't believe it.
Congratulations and enjoy the podium.
Thank you very much.
Hold on, Joe. Joe Millard there. I know him very well. Known him for a long, long time. And a very, very accomplished passenger. And what more can you say about that? A good performance by the British crews. Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard, and of course Stuart Brown and Scott Graham acquitted themselves admirably. Stuart Brown just showing how the experience counts. But we can now go to race 2 winner and the man who proudly displays the red plate and will continue to do so. So let's get a few words from Koen
So Koen,
Hermans.
perfect ride, the fastest from the start till the end. It secures you the red plate and the 2nd position here in Brou. Are you happy about that?
Yeah, we are really happy. In the first heat, it went not so good, but we had changed a lot, definitely on the suspension. And yeah, I think everyone did see that in the 2nd race it was a lot better. So now we keep going like this.
Yeah, congratulations and enjoy the podium.
Thank you.
Koen Hermans, it's good, you know. Ben van den Bogart said of him, doesn't he? You know, when it gets tough, he gets going, and he certainly did, and he stuck it through race 1. Race 2 paid off with a start-to-finish victory. So I'm delighted for him, delighted for Ben. Is this going to be the year that Ben lifts his 5th title and Koen gets his 1st? Who knows? Anything can happen in this sport, as we've said so many times. I've already said it once today, but what a magnificent pair of races we've seen here from Brou, and we've still got some solo live stream coming up, so there'll be a little bit of that for you to enjoy, I'm pretty sure. Meanwhile, track preparation and reparations go on, and we hope then to hear from the French champions and the guys who won overall here today. He'll be overjoyed. It's Kilian Prunier of Les Frères Prunier. Come on, Kilian.
Kilian, so it was. What happened to you that you lost?
But we didn't took the best time a lot, and finally the track then technical, so it was not in our advantage. So we managed to keep the pace and put a gap, but I don't know why. But at the moment in the jump, the bike just stopped, and the corner right after when the bike restarted, I just took the bar in the chest, and I got just out of air. I needed into the race, and we managed to get the overall. So, but finally the main.
We will hear them. So it's perfect. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, and everybody will be there to sing. I want to thank a lot again all the crowd. The part of the victory is thanks to them. It was just amazing to be pushed by them.
Okay, congratulations and enjoy the podium.
Thanks a lot.
Well, apologies for the audio breakup there in Kilian's interview, but it was as I said, you know, it was a physical problem. He took a thump in the chest from the handlebar, got it wrong off a jump, landed heavily, took a knock, lost his wind and had to regroup and go again. So that's it then. The gap now 32 points. Prunier back in second place. Marvin van Lucas slips to third, almost into the clutches of Brett Wilkinson and Joe Millard, who've done themselves a power of good this weekend, in fourth ahead of Benny Weiss. Kerben in sixth, he's moved up. Stuart Brown really in the pound seats there, good for him. Sanders, Leffering. Sanders went backwards, he was in seventh place before this race, but Stuart Brown put the mockers on that for him. Lefferinks, Joshua Wyman in the top 10, those boys. Leelbard is still 11th. They're dragging their heels a little bit and they won't be happy. They've got to sort of regain their mojo somehow, and I don't know where that's going to come from. Mike Hodges, Stefan Wires, Tim Prumer, of course. Poor Tim, unable to ride this weekend. Let's wish Jarno a very speedy recovery so they can get back on form for the second half of the season. But we have to say it's gone for this year, Tim. You know that as well as I know that. Such a shame. You promised so much, worked so hard over the winter. But these riders will be making their way now to the presentation, and the officials who donate the prizes, FIM officials, club officials. I don't sadly have the names to hand of who will be giving the prize giving. We're going to stay with it, and the fans, I think, will rightly make their way up to the podium for the prize giving ceremony. But those who are down on the bank will just enjoy the sunshine that's come out and the beer stalls. But we're up on the podium now for the prize giving ceremony, and we have a French-speaking public address commentator. So I will try to describe to you what is happening.
Participation parce que ça a été assez extraordinaire. Alors, on va débuter tout simplement par l'équipage qui va monter sur la troisième marche de ce podium. À the third place, eh bien, je vous demande une ovation exceptionnelle également pour cet équipage anglais avec Brett Wilkinson et Joe Millard.
Here we go. Third place, Brett Wilkinson, Joe Millard. Here they go. They'll be delighted with that, especially after their first race when it could easily have been game over off the line. And gearbox problem in time qualifying.
Et là aussi, ça mérite une ovation assez exceptionnelle avec cette délégation néerlandaise avec Ken Hermans et Dan van den Bogart, s'il vous plaît, une ovation.
Ken Hermans, Ben van den Bogart take their place.
Prendre place tranquillement.
And it's our mobile camera down there that is giving us a technical glitch.
Il y a une première place qui va être quelque chose d'historique, qui va être votre première place. Allez leur demander de venir. Mesdames, messieurs, je voudrais qu'on fasse une ovation pour les vainqueurs de ce Grand Prix de France, Kylian et Evan.
Nice one. Kylian Evan Prunier.
Exceptionnel. Exceptionnel.
Up they go. Congratulations from the British crew. Top of the bunks then for the French champions.
Les trophées à la troisième place. Pour la troisième place, donc voilà, Guillaume.
We said, didn't we, in an interview, are we going to hear the Marseillaise, the French national anthem? Well, of course we are. Troisième place for Wilkinson and Millard. The red, white and blue of Great Britain as well as the red, white and blue of France. Jean-Pierre Forêt, the president of the Motocross Commission for the FFM. I know that gentleman. Fédération Française de Motocyclisme, the governing body of motorcycle sport in France, and that is the president.
Qui va remettre le trophée de vainqueur du Grand Prix de France édition 2025, mesdames, messieurs, à Kylian et Ivan Prunier.
There you have it, boys. And I know the FFM are very supportive of their national riders and very supportive of the Prunier brothers. And they truly believe that they have world champions designate, the first ever, it would be, world champion to come from France. Will we see that? Let's hope so, and let's hope you see that here with WSC on FIM-moto.tv one day.
Cette délégation pour ce championnat du monde. Regardez, voilà l'équipage qui est sur le podium également. Je voudrais.
Big crowd here. Proud family in the crowd as well. Andreas Gosman, one of our FIM officials, damaged his right thumb last weekend doing some gardening at home. He almost cut the end of his thumb off with a scythe. So that's why his thumb is bandaged up. Here we go. Applause rings out then around the Brou circuit, and why shouldn't it? The red plate, though, proudly in the hands of Koen Hermans, Ben van den Bogart. That will stay. They now have a new chaser in the championship, and it's the Prunier brothers who have moved into second place. They were there briefly after the first round, and they're now back. So the fight back began in Fox Hill after their suspension collapse, but it really gathered momentum here in Brou when they emerged overall winners of their home Grand Prix. Well, we leave you there with the podium pictures, the jubilant podium pictures from me, Barry Nutley. I hope you've enjoyed what we brought you in the World Championship Sidecarcross here from Brou in round 3. In a week's time we move on to Gdansk in Poland for the ongoing saga in the 2025 FIM Sidecarcross World Championship. So from me, Barry Nutley, hope you've enjoyed it. There's some more solos on the track, but it won't be with commentary, but hope you enjoyed the pictures. But from us on WSC, it's a goodbye from now. We'll see you next weekend.
Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukenes certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.